I think communication is almost like breathing. Every moment we are communicating. Even when you're sleeping, you have got dreams, So your subconscious brain is communicating at a whole different dimension.
How is like a man deep? That's how you put your name as Amandeep, as like a man who's deep. Exactly, you are a man deep. Please share your daily self-improvement, routine, which help you discover your brilliance. So I'm sure you have also been breaking this one thread at a time. So the self-improvement, and you are kind of guy. I have never seen you someone who would just like waste time for even fraction of second. So there would be complete intentions what I want to create out of that moment, right? So what are your self-improvement routines, which are even today you follow it by your own life, like inside your own life?
Well, I just want to quickly pre-frame the listeners. Coming from a very humble background gives you this hunger. So if you had gone through immense challenges, I think you got a big hunger inside you to become a better version, and prove it to the world that you can do it too. Everything is possible. So that's a good thing. At the same time, you got to be okay sometimes to relax and enjoy and have fun. Something most Asians learn the hard way is to relax completely and let go. But just coming back, to your question, there are a few rituals I'm proud of. From a health perspective, I can talk about a few things. Like I don't have any breakfast culture in my life for almost 10 years now, and there's a whole deep meaning reason to it. I know there is a whole old belief that you should eat breakfast like a king and the dinner like a beggar. That's completely opposite. Okay, and I'm not going to go into the depth of the whole aspect, but understand when you wake up in the morning, your body, slowly needs to gear up to a certain level. And if you can keep your stomach empty as much as possible in the morning, it's a great thing. So for us, there is no breakfast culture in the house, even with my wife, and my daughter pretty much. And we do our best to reach to almost midday before we start eating something. And that's like almost 14 hours of gap, before like the dinner we ate at the night, and then we start eating the daytime. Secondly, we don't drink water, any liquid with food. And sometimes if you ever get invited to my house, or if you are around London and you come to my place, and if you have a habit to drink water with your food, please don't, you won't offend us if you ask us for water, because sometimes what happens, the guest sits with us, they eat the whole food, and then we realize, oh God, we haven't given them water, because they're used to drinking water. There's nothing wrong. If you're used to something, it takes a while, to get over it. And I think the biggest ritual I have in my life is that I realize that my brain is, wired in a certain way that I love to observe communication. I always look at an aspect of how this can be said better, how you can frame the question more effectively in a powerful way that most people can open up. And when people can open up, you can actually do great work with them, like to make them better. Is only when people shut down, it's very difficult to teach them and take them on a higher level. So most days, I sit with my slides. I can get lost in my slides. Like, it's very difficult to explain, but my wife probably would be the best, person to say, like, she knows what goes, in my brain. And most of the time she understands that I haven't heard what she said. I just say, which means it's not a yes. It means I'm lost in my slides. And I'm looking, at certain things, how to say this, how to bring this analogy, how to build the story up, how to put this video in, how the font can make an impact, what else can go in here. Every minute detail of communication, one-to-one and one-to-many. And obviously for me first, and then at the same time, how can my students take this and become better communicators, and they can have the spotlight on them. And that's what, by the way, I do. I let my students have the spotlight so that I can be the background now, because I've done enough stage, for more than 11 years now. I've done 500 plus workshops, 300 for Tony, 200 plus for myself. And now I think I'm on a mission to create, effective communicators, because I think communication is almost like breathing. Every moment we are communicating. Even when you're sleeping, you have got dreams, So your subconscious brain is communicating at a whole different dimension. And if you can have empowering dreams, I think, you will wake up much empowered. And if you can have empowering communication with yourself and with others, I think your life can be enriched in many special ways. So these are a couple of the rituals, and I can go on and on. I've got few other rituals, which I do, but those are the few I can talk about right now.